I'm Christopher Brent Mitchell. I was born in Enterprise, Alabama, August 29th, 1971. I started swimming at YMCA in Enterprise, Alabama when I was 5. My mother wanted me out of the house because I was a little bit rambunctious. So she put me into swimming. I swam under Liz Pender at the Enterprise Y. I've been a very lucky, I guess you would say a very lucky swimmer. I've had some of the probably the best coaches you're going to have in this country, if not the world, or have been associated with some of them. David Marsh, Alex Braunfeld, Skip Foster, Donald Gibb, Chris Martin, Jimmy Flowers, Kathy McKee. But 3 men have really impacted my life the most, and that would be Eddie Reese, Randy Reese, and Chris Davis. Those 3 men basically have been coaches that I have not just admired being around, talking to, but they are, in essence, my mentors to coaching, but also father figures who I've been able to go to for advice and have pretty much been everything to me. Things that have inspired Eddie, I mean, I don't think you can go too far with Eddie and Chris in saying they're different. Both men, basically, it's more about the kids than it is about them, and I've watched that. When I swam for Chris and then coached for Chris, you never saw him make it about Chris Davis, and Eddie Reese is the same way. I was actually, when I finished in '96 Olympic trials, I was finding something, and I taught myself how to program games, and 2 of my buddies and I decided we were going to create a video game company, and started in Gainesville, and Tsunami was the name of the company. And these guys, and basically I was programming underneath, and I found myself wee hours of the morning going to coach to try to clear my brain of the programming, because back then with programming it wasn't visual, it was just C++ and stuff like that. So whenever there was a mistake, it just said mistake at the bottom. It didn't tell you where the mistake was. So you're trying to figure out what line is messed up. So you're sitting there with it going through your brain late night I went to the pool to calm myself down. I would coach. I was coaching masters. I was helping out with little kids. Found myself in love with it, and called Chris up and said, "Hey, do you need anybody? And I want to get back into coaching." He found me a job, and from there, I was coaching at Collins Hill, and then ended up coming out to, after a year and a half of coaching there, I was offered a job out here in Dallas, and from there, I took 25 kids and turned that into Metroplex Aquatics. Well, it's for me, I held a few Georgia State records growing up, and short course and long course. I think more of 13, 14, 15, 16, a little, maybe a 17, 18 record, I can't remember. As a breaststroker, anybody that knows I'm not allowed to swim butterfly and freestyle because they're too ugly. At Florida, we held the NCAA record in the 400 medley relay, broke the US Open record and the NCAA record. Held, I think, won US Open as well that year in the 400 medley relay. Have 11 All-Americans there at the University of Florida. We won all 4 years the SEC title while I was there at the University of Florida. Georgia, I was part of the '89 Dynamo team that I guess we were national title or second team that ended up going over to Monaco. I was part of that team here. Great team that I had. And then as for as a coach, I've had some great swimmers along the way. Texas State record holders, quite a few. Lindsay Looney, Vanessa Pearl. At this point, I've been a 10-time either national team or junior national team coach in a row, starting in 2014. And it's all because of those swimmers. Basically, just had a girl just miss making the Olympic team in the 200 fly by 0.3 of a second. She ended up 3rd overall, and Lindsay Looney. But it's more of the accolades that they've had in the state of Texas, and top 8 at nationals and things like that that have led to the accomplishments that, as a coach, I've been able to have. Growing up, it was Bo Jackson and Michael Jordan. In fact, my oldest child is named Jordan after Michael. I tried to get away with Jordan Michelle, but that didn't fly. But I grew up I'm a huge sports enthusiast. So, but in growing up in Auburn, Bo was there when I was there. So I was able to, my mom worked with the athletic department, so I would spend my nights over at Sewell Hall, which was where the football players, basketball players were. So I was surrounded by people like Bo Jackson, Chuck Person, Charles Barkley, Lionel James, a lot of famous football players, but I got to know them on a different level. And it was really cool. It was really nice. But as I've grown older, and becoming a coach, I've realized that my real hero is my mother. You look through what she did for us. We didn't have much money growing up, but she did everything for us. She worked for us, my sister and myself, and I don't think anybody that knows exactly what she went through. She did so much for us in so many ways that there's no way that if I could do half of what my mother did for my kids, it would be amazing. Because I don't think she realizes how much she did for us. I think when I first got into coaching, I knew I wanted to be a swim coach, and my mom thought I was crazy growing up. But I wanted to be when I was in high school, I said, I want to be a swim coach. But I did it for the wrong reasons. I wanted to go out there and prove that all my coaches were wrong. I knew how to coach. I knew what I needed to do. And what I realized was after that first year, I called a lot of my coaches, those coaches that coached me, and I apologized. I said I was wrong. And what I realized, I had a hard demeanor. I basically demanded hard work. I was tough on the kids. And what I realized in time was that I can't want it more than they do. And my job as a coach is I want to be there for them. I want their success, but I can't push them harder than they need to be pushed. They need to want it more than I do. And if they don't, then we're not going too far in this sport. And what I like to see is, not just their development, because I'm a huge part of their development as kids when they're swimming and growing up, and I'm going to be in that, I'm hoping developing them into good young adults who understand not just the swimming aspect of hard work and dedication, but also to the rest of their lives.